Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to our Leonardo helicopter facility here at Vergiate, near Milan. I'm Raffaella Luglini, Chief Stakeholder Officer of Leonardo. We've organized this event to present to you our new industrial plan, for you to see how this is a plan to return Leonardo to profitable and sustainable growth, and to also show you our helicopter business in a more detail and how we have moved to address the recent temporary issues of this high-quality business. Our CEO, Alessandro Profumo, will begin the day by giving the context, overview, and key points of the group industrial plan. One moment. Then Giampiero Cutillo, as the MD of a helicopter division, will describe his insights and the action he is taking in the helicopter business. On this occasion, we're doing a deep dive here because we know you're keen to hear more about this business. Our CEO will then demonstrate how we are executing our growth strategy across the group. Handing over to our Chief Commercial Officer, Lorenzo Mariani, who will show how our new enhanced commercial strategy will drive new sales in key international markets all across the group. And then our CFO, Alessandra Genco, will show the economic and financial side of our plan, the reasons and drivers behind it, and where it takes us in economic and financial terms. After some concluding remarks by the CEO, we will look forward to taking your questions in a Q&A session. Thank you, and now over to our CEO, Alessandro Profumo.
Many thanks, Raffaella. Many thanks to all of you for being here today with us. So I think that it's quite important that we are in Vergiate, where our helicopter business is based, so you will have a clear demonstration on how we are positioned in helicopters. Today, you will hear that a lot was achieved in Leonardo recent years, radically increasing efficiencies, restoring profitability, and reducing debt. It was not easy, but it was necessary. So after this progress, the reset in 2017 has been disappointing for all of us, with the rebase in helicopters where a weak market and some internal issues led to lower performance, requiring strong action and now realistic expectations. We have a high-quality helicopter business, and there are no structural issues. We are going to be very transparent about that, so that we can move the conversation forward. As Raffaella said, this is the reason why, after me, Giampiero Cutillo will present the business immediately after my introductory remarks. Because we are confident in the opportunity for Leonardo, we are entering a new phase where our reference market are going to grow about 6%, and we have the quality products, highly valued by customers, well-positioned for key trends. So we are going to set this business up to win. Leonardo 2.0, the full deployment of one company model, will continue the essential redevelopment of the organization to leverage on our key strengths. A new commercial strategy will transform our opportunities in international market and services, whilst renewed investment in key areas will maintain product leadership and win with our customers. All of this is combined with a sustainable financial strategy for Leonardo, where strict cost control will be largely targeted towards maintaining competitiveness and reinvesting to win. And the combination of strong execution on increasing volumes, together with a clear financial strategy, will deliver profitable growth and returns to our shareholders. As we said, 2017 will be the bottom year, and in 2018 we will restart a recovery in orders, revenues, and EBITDA. It will be an accelerating process, and today will show our plan to return to steady, solid, reliable, and sustainable growth. And we will deliver on that. Let me go into more detail and set the context. In the period 2014-2017, Leonardo revisited its business portfolio, divesting the activities in transportation sector to focus on aerospace, defense, and security sector, and to reinforce its capital structure. In the same period, profitability improved significantly. Return on sales moved from 8% in 2014 to 10.4% in 2016, supported by the restructuring and efficiency improvement. In 2016, the one company model was launched, with a governance system based on a greater level of integration, more effective and efficient decision-making and operational processes, and greater transparency and standardization of the same, and the strengthening of central control. We cannot underestimate the significance of this restructuring. It was very hard on the business, but it was necessary, and a lot was achieved. Sent against this progress, the reset in 2017 was disappointing for all of us. Being new to the business, it was essential for me that I understood what happened, to ensure that we are doing the right things, and to ensure that we could be as transparent and direct with you today as possible. I know that you all need to know what happened in helicopters and what it means for our 2017 and 2018 outlook. And we are going to show you that before we focus on the longer-term sustainable industrial plan. We had some temporary issues in helicopters in 2017 due to some external and internal factors. First, the external factors. The market decline you are all very familiar with, oversupply versus demand. The mix shift within the intermediate subsector you may not be so familiar with. We dominated this space with the mature and profitable 139. As this subsector split into three more distinctive parts, we are at the right product strategy with the 169 and the 189. But lower margin on the newer 189 and 169 product hit our mix. And Giampiero will be more precise on that. Whilst young products take time to mature, some of the problems were undoubtedly self-inflicted. These internal factors included underperforming in military sales, far too many late-stage reconfiguration agreed by commercial teams chasing sales in a difficult market, and the problem caused by this practice were compounded by issues in planning and production, missing components, double runs, delays, and unsatisfied customer. Our visibility on production fell from 18 months to just 6 months in 2017, and the financial impacts are clear. But let me leave you in no doubt about this point. Our helicopter business remains a strong and very high-quality business. Clients want our products. We have an excellent offer portfolio with our key product family, and our closest competitors would love our market share and our margin. I stress a concept that from 2012 to 2017, our market share in the civil helicopters went significantly up. Our challenges of 2017 do not change that. Nonetheless, we have taken strong action to get back to great. With a new team and the right leadership in Giampiero, as you will see shortly, he is the right person to analyze and manage, I stress manage, the situation. To reinforce the discipline and process that went temporarily missing. But we must be realistic about the timetable for the return to double-digit margins by 2020. So I stress the concept that we will go back to double-digit return on sales. We will get there. It will be driven by market recovery and a more disciplined approach. We absolutely have the right products in the right markets, and we will not take shortcuts with this business. Whatever we do must be sustainable. So we have a very high-quality business, and we are confident about the opportunity for Leonardo. This confidence is supported by a new phase for our market with, unfortunately, increasing political instability, increasing sign of global economic recovery, a new security paradigm, the demand for digitization, and with increasing environmental pressures. These support an outlook for growth for the addressable market of around 6%. The concept of addressable market will be exploited by Lorenzo is one of the key elements for us. Due to our presence in the key segments with positive market trends, and despite relatively low levels of growth forecast for our domestic market, we have the portfolio of high-quality products to meet this opportunity. And I will be speaking in more detail about our market opportunities and our portfolio, and how we execute our growth strategy later. But we need to be much more effective if we are going to take the opportunities that are there. We have made some good progress with the one company operating model, but an acceleration is required to guarantee the business sustainability in the medium to long term. Leonardo 2.0 will enhance a central organizational structure to support and coordinate the businesses and share best practices. Leonardo identity and a more integrated management of resources, focus on industrial management, key processes and digitalization, on key competencies and skills, and the pervasive cost transformation program for the entire group. The commercial structure is not fully effective yet, but our enhanced business approach will increase market penetration in key markets to boost international business development, better integration of the portfolio management of cross-business customers, and increase customer support. You will see that at the end of the plan we will have 25% of our revenues coming from customer support, to deliver an impact on the acquisition of orders and improving our book-to-bill. We will also need to continue to rationalize and strengthen the portfolio, reshaping the focus on our core products and technologies, and strengthening through partnership or M&A activity. We also have to invest in our sustainable growth. We need focused investment to take advantage of our improving markets. We will improve customers' relationship by opening more than 10 offices in the next 2 years. We will focus on major opportunities with more than 70 strategic campaigns with a worth of 20 billion in the next 5 years. And we consider a success factor only on a piece of them, clearly. We will invest to strengthen our customer support and services offering, and you will each hear much more about this later from Lorenzo Mariani, who is our responsible for the commercial activities. Over the course of this plan, investment will increase and will be in the range of 600–700 million per year. This will remain well below the level spent in the past, before 2014, as we focus our dedicated efforts on core, critical and new product technologies and digitalization. These are key elements for the sustainability of our business in the long run. An integral part of our transformation is strict cost control. We have thoroughly reviewed the whole business and identified several clear and actionable cost savings measures. As a result, we will expect to deliver annualized savings by 200 million, increasing the competitiveness of our products, providing resources to invest in growth, and improving our profitability in a sustainable way. The actions identified in the industrial plan are designed to deliver a return to growth for the group. Increased market penetration, with a particular contribution from international markets, together with our strong backlog, should deliver 70 billion order intake and the revenue growth of around 5 to 6% through the life of the plan. This is a compound growth. We will use the resources created through our renewed focus on cost control to reinvest in the business, to keep our product competitive, to develop products with significant market opportunities. As I said, the investment will be in the range of 600–700 million per year. Therefore, we'll deliver increased profitability, sustainable by exploiting the operating leverage linked to higher volumes and industrial efficiencies, resulting in a return to double-digit ROS, return on sales, in 2020, an EBITDA accumulated annual growth over the life of the plan between 8 and 10%, And we will also remain focused on cash, which will be affected by the short-term pressure on EFA Kuwait. This is something on which we have been always very transparent, financial profile, with an accelerating free operating cash flow from 2020. Our recent, and Alessandra Genco will be more precise on that, average cash conversion has been 50%, and is our base for the future. But Alessandra will be more detailed on that. You cannot consider a single year, you have to consider an average across more than 1 year, because our activities, for instance, on EFA Kuwait, do have a cash profile which is very clear and on which we have been always very transparent. Thereby continuing to strengthening the capital structure and our push for investment grade, whilst maintaining the annual dividend that was recently reintroduced. So in 2018, we are planting the seeds for sustainable growth. Alessandra, as I said, will cover in more details later today. We have established, while we have had our challenges, we are confident about the future of Leonardo. We have established a very clear plan, and we are determined to win. Our new initiatives and financial strategy will get us there. We have our plan, and we know where we need to go. Now it's time to execute. So a very strong focus will be on execution. As evidence of this determination, I will hand over to Giampiero, who will walk you through in detail what's been going on in helicopters, so we can draw a line before moving to the industrial plan and the discussion on long-term growth. Giampiero.
Thank you, Alessandro. Good afternoon, everyone. As you know, I've been managing director now of our helicopter business since October last year. And I started right from the outset with a very clear need to understand exactly what was happening inside the business, which means internally, exactly what was happening outside in the marketplace, and be absolutely sure we start doing what we need to do, going on the right path. I'm now very clear on all of this, and today I want to share my view with you. Before I go into the detail, I want to set out some of the key things I'm clear on. First, we have, as has been said, we have a world-class business here. By any analysis, I repeat, any analysis, one thing really stands out, and that is that our product strategy has been and continues to be absolutely correct. We have a range of products that are what the market wants, and we are in the right part of the market. I'm clear on what happened last year in terms of external environment, but more importantly, in terms of the internal issues, especially concerning production disciplines and culture. And as I will show, the civil market decline, the product mix, the military order intakes slippage, and the delivery effectiveness issue of the production line were our biggest problem. We have taken action to restore core discipline in our processes. I saw straight away that our production and demand plans were not aligned properly. So immediately we start instilling the discipline and the rigor needed. We have changed our operating model in terms of organization, in terms of processes, and in terms of key people. to meet the proper level of internal execution and the proper manufacturing flexibility needed to succeed in the current market context, beginning with the simple new rule that you cannot change configuration once the helicopter is on the final assembly line. And looking externally, we have a great opportunity in improving markets penetration. Markets that are estimated to grow, and we are absolutely in the right spaces of the market, especially in some key areas of the civil, both in terms of weight classes and in terms of end users segments. And the most important today, I want to show you how we are executing and a plan to get us back to a sustainable growth, which capture the potential of our portfolio, which captures and execute market opportunities, and which steadily restores a double-digit margin by 2020. Let's look at the business positioning. First and foremost, in our product family, we have an excellent offer portfolio for the customers. There is nothing really wrong with the core product strategy, and this is very clear. And we have got the right product and services for the right market. Our AW family represents the best value for money, and it's definitely what the customer wants. And we know how to improve it further by investing properly. We have a leadership on the position in the 3 to 10 tons range for dual platforms, especially in civil, where we occupy the middle ground, broader intermediate segment, and that's a very good place to be, and I want to show you this later in detail. We reach a more than 30% market share in our reference civil market and in the most attractive growth space, and we actually gain share during the market decline over the past few years. We are really well placed on this market, not just with our core dual products, but also we have a competitive and a worldwide recognized military specialized platform for a multi-role, naval and attack operation. And we continue pursuing customer services to fulfill customer expectation in terms of fleet availability, direct maintenance cost, and best-in-class training. And despite the issues last year, we are still achieving high single-digit profitability, although our key priority is restoring to double-digit. So, to put simply, we don't think there is any structural problem with this business or with the industry we operate in. And to summarize our thinking when we look at the two sides of the business, civil and military. In civil, as I said, the product strategy is correct. We had both external and internal factors combining at the same time affecting 2017. But we are very well positioned in the right areas of an improving market. And we must keep investing to sustain this leadership, both product and services. While in the military, there is less linear than civil in the way the business builds up. It's much more opportunistic. We have missed some opportunity in the past, but we do have the capability to perform very well leveraging both our dual use and the specialized platforms. We know that we know how to do better, and we have started doing it, enhancing our route to the market, focusing on key campaigns on a global scale, leveraging on existing and future partnership, and changing in this direction the mindset for the whole organization. Let me be a bit more specific on what happened in the civil market. Traditionally, Leonardo has dominated the intermediate segment of the civil helicopter marketplace. Is the blue one for your... And we have done this with the excellent, mature, and cost-effective AW139 product. Over the last 5 years, our overall civil reference market has declined significantly, down some 45% if you take as a point of reference 2013, from around 5 to 6 billion to just over 3 billion. But you need to appreciate that the core 3 to 10 tons range actually comprises 3 subclasses. And all these have actually been substantially stable over that same period. And since 2015, we have begun to meet the market's needs with our younger products, the AW169 and the AW189. And we still have a leadership position with over 50% of this key broader intermediate segment. You also need to understand that younger products have naturally lower margin in the early stages. And so we have had some economic impact from a mix shift to younger, lower margin products. Finally, we have focused presence in the light classes with the AW119 and the AW109, strengthening our positioning with the newly certified tracker. And I just want to emphasize this important point on how we are in the right part of the market. Our core products are well placed, we said, across these 3 attractive middle ground intermediate segments. Our AW139 has maintained share in the intermediate class, although total segment value decreased due to the oil and gas impact. How the AW169, you can see, has driven high growth in the core light intermediate segment, and how the 189 has grown to become a market leader in the new category, the super medium. Adding all that together, you can see that our sales in this class have not fallen, but we have taken share, although the mix of a younger product has had impact on profitability. So that's the external environment. Let's now look more closely at the internal parts within our business itself. So together with the external backdrop, we saw a combination of other factors hitting the business. We underperformed on the military side with some order slippage and some challenges in tender processes in a major campaign. And we got a problem in some addressable market. We lost some profitability because of the product mix changing in a context of high pressure in prices, and we were competing for a business in a very challenging market, and we lost the discipline, offering too much flexibility on configurations, accepting really late configuration and short lead times. All this led to our biggest issue, the impact on our production planning and processes and efficiency, impacting significantly both volumes and profitability. And what used to be a push model of manufacturing-based business management, meeting the strong demand, suddenly changed, became a pull business model, where market demand was the key driver. We were unable to change quickly enough with the flexibility required from the changed market. We had suddenly to cope with limited production visibility, especially in terms of configuration, which fell from more than 18 months visibility to just 6 months. High level of late-stage changes in production and shorter lead time and several changes in delivery dates, combined with an increasing production complexity due to the new product, 189 and 169, ramping up. All this led to material disruption on the shop floor and in the supply chain. And the consequence was weak delivery, poor capability, and high cost overrun. And you have already seen the financial impact of those issues. Lower revenue and profitability, but still high single digit. And we know now that we can improve them. We are taking action quickly, and we expect to see the changes come through the course of the coming months. Our mantra is based on 5 key guiding principles: discipline in the governance, agility in the industrial operations, both internal production shop floors and in the supply chain management, effectiveness driven by an integrated planning and control process across all division key stakeholders, clear accountability obtained through operating model revamping, impacting organization, processes, and people, and financial awareness spread across the entire organization. And we have taken immediate actions. First of all, we have launched a structured execution excellent program, and I'll be back on this point on a later slide. We focused and we have now launched a new planning and control operating model, and we also make some important change of the production floor and supply chain doctrine and operating rules. And we are improving our commercial forecasting capability to better pin down clients' needs, leading to clear production planning. We are fully aware that such changes takes time. And in a complex organization like Leonardo Helicopters, it's a slow process, but action is already ongoing, and we expect to see improvement in the short terms. So clear and effective actions. And now we can also look to where we can take this business forward. We are, as you can see, we are facing a growing civil market that is estimated to grow by 5% CAGR over the next 5 years. We expect more balanced supply and demand, and we are really well positioned in terms of a key product family. The main growth drivers in the civil market are in the intermediate segment with a CAGR of 9%, where we have the AW139. In the light intermediate segment, where we have the AW169, and in the super medium segment with a CAGR of 10%, where we have the AW189. So in all these segments, our product offers the best value for money. We have also certified a few weeks ago the AW109 tracker that will play an important role in the light twin segment. We don't think that the light single-engine market will be, at least for Leonardo, particularly attractive because it's a very high competition and low margin. And we don't think that the medium-heavy end of the market is an attractive segment too. So to put simply, we are in the right space and in the right part of the market that is set to experience attractive growth. It is a real opportunity for us. Then look at the military. The overall market is set to be much flatter due to the military budget constraint and committed programs tailing off, waiting for a new procurement cycles. But we are well positioned, and we think we can perform better. And we are confident on this, partly because of the number and the range of single opportunities that we can see globally in many export markets, and partly because we know we can leverage off on a more effective go-to-market approach. Our performance in the dual platform for military operation is far from its full potential. And that's going to be important as we go forward. Military specialized platforms have a room for improvement in their market penetration, also leveraging partnership with other players. These partnerships are a key business enabler to extend our global reach. Our priority in military is to leverage of the enhanced commercial strategy and penetrate new export markets, to focus on major campaigns. You will hear more later on this subject from Lorenzo. Now, let's look more at the plan we are executing. We have a clear vision and a clear market strategy. This is how we are going to execute and return to a sustainable growth and capitalize on the market opportunity. In essence, 5 key areas, and I want to touch on each one. The first area, on the top left of the slide, is reinforcing and strengthening our products and services and what we can offer to the customer. Top of the list here is investing properly to strengthen those key dual-use products that are so strong in the 3 to 10 tons segment. We can improve their performance further, and in cases materially reduce their flying operating cost to the customer. Initiatives like this will really help our market penetration as well as our profitability. This is all about investing properly and playing to our strengths. And we also want to enhance a certain military platform and develop a new product in key market segments. Then, next there is technology improvement and innovation, which I will mention in a moment. Then next there is the enhancing of our go-to-market model. You will hear more from, as I said, our CEO and from Lorenzo, but you can see that we are revamping our go-to-market strategy, concentrating sales effort towards major campaign, especially for military programs. We are looking to capture earlier the real needs of the customer, and we are applying a new announced sales force model and reshaping our geographical focus. Then the other priority of our plan is how we leverage of partnership. These can be very important, a key enablers to increase our competitiveness all along the value chain, to really improve our product capability and technology, penetrate new geographies, improve our service level and perimeter of activities. But let me touch on technology improvement and innovation. This means sustaining rotorcraft technological competitiveness and keeping investing in disruptive innovation also with a mid-long-term perspective. As you know, we are introducing the new revolutionary architecture concept on the market. The AW609 will be the first and only civil certified tilt rotor, resulting in a new market segment and new opportunities for our client. Certification is expected by end of 2019. Unmanned, both civil and military, that will play an important role in the market in the next future. Hero and Solo are our products where we are keeping investing on this segment. Then obviously we are expanding our state-of-the-art technologies, continuing investing in the platform-focused technology to sustain our offer portfolio competitiveness, including green technology and digital enablers. But the part of the plan that most important and key to our success is achieving execution excellence. I spoke earlier about specific short-term actions to remove production disruption and achieve stability there. More widely, our initiatives have three underlying objectives: enhancing competitiveness, restoring profitability, and improving sustainable cash flow generation. These initiatives address both function-specific improvement areas as well as transversal improvements that are crucial for our success. We have a function-related initiative being put in place. The first of these is agile manufacturing and product quality, is definitely our mainly priority. But we expect compelling results from all of them. And we have also cross-functional initiative which we are focused on. Cost improvement on key product, including the 169. For this product, really successful results have been achieved and will deploy in production in the coming months. We continue reinforcing our integrated planning and control model and rigorous program management. And we are looking hard at the working capital and, of course, cash flow generation. You have heard what underpins our confidence in this business. The core strengths in key products and how well they are positioned in the market. The healthier market outlook in civil and the key improvement action we are taking to address production discipline and processes, integrated planning and control, and organization change. Roughly 90% of our 2018 planned delivery already have a frozen configuration. This all means that we can target steady recovery in our top-line revenue. You can see on the chart our target here of 5% plus CAGR over the next 3 years. And at the same time, we are targeting to move from the current high single-digit return on sales back to double-digit by 2020. And we see this growth being well-balanced across our 3 key business segments: civil, military, and customer support and training. So, to wrap up, we don't see any structural issue with the business or the industry. We have a high-quality business with an excellent value proposition in its key product family, and we can invest to enhance these products. We know what has happened in the business last year, and we understand this issue clearly, and we are addressing them. We believe we can deliver on realistic expectations. Thank you, and now I will hand you back to Alessandro.
Many thanks, Giampiero. We have heard a lot today already about the state of our business, mainly in helicopters, and the direction in which we are heading. What we haven't discussed yet is how our vision for the future of this company aligns with the trend we are seeing in the aerospace, defense, and security market. The future growth of aerospace, defense, and security market, and what that means for Leonardo. I'm confident in the future of our business. We see plenty of opportunity in growing target markets to support our renewed growth ambition. And whilst it was an inevitable focus today, we are more than just helicopters, with 3 core businesses and some highly attractive leadership positions. But we need to set Leonardo up to win more often. If we look at the fundamental of our market, we have identified several growth drivers in the short and long term. Globally, we see increasingly widespread political instability, shifting defense policies, a new security paradigm driven by evolving technologies and threats, and recovering economies. So countries around the world are investing in their defense budget. We expect circa 3% growth of procurement and RDTA in 2017-2022, with France, Germany, UK driving European growth. A flat Italian total defense budget, which is below the 2% NATO target. All of these factors come together to fuel growth in the industry, which we plan to harness during our plan, with 6% growth in our reference markets. While the competitive landscape is still evolving, the future outlook for our business looks strong. All of our markets are expected to grow over the next 5 years. In helicopters, we see civil market growing at around 6% on average, with significant recovery for civil commercial market, driven by utility, EMS, and search and rescue applications, as you have heard from Giampiero Cutillo, and a slight reduction in the military market due to the phasing out of military programs, mainly in US and UK. In aeronautics, we see civil market driving high volumes and main program deliveries linked to the military driving market growth of around 10%. In defense electronics, we see strong demand for defense electronics, maritime surveillance, mainly territory control, and border protection and missiles, and a significant growth in security through cyber and protection of infrastructure. and in space, where we see several key opportunities driven by expanding national space budget, 4.3% cumulated annual growth over the next 5 years. More broadly, we see room for growth across AD&S, aerospace, defense and security market, as defense budget around the world expand, with global defense budget continuing to grow by around 2% during our plan, based on growing procurement and R&D. This growth is being supported by improved economic conditions and strategic challenges in a variety of regions, with increased US military spending, European efforts to increase defense budget to 2% of GDP in NATO countries, and attractive markets in Asia-Pacific, Middle East that remain attractive UE markets. Looking more specifically at our domestic markets, we expect stability in the medium term with room for opportunity. Italian defense spending will remain flat at around 1.2% of GDP in 2017. While spending may increase in the next 5 years, it is unlikely that Italy will hit the 2% NATO target. Majority of the anticipated expenditure is on personnel with a limited amount of investment. In UK, moderate growth in defense spending is being forecasted, with confirmation of defense initiatives outlined in the SDSR. A real-term increase in funding for security and defense agencies, but some budget pressure due to Brexit. And in the US, we see opportunities to grow as defense spending continues to increase, with US defense spending more than 3% of national GDP. Procurement expected to grow, boosted by cybersecurity funds, cyberspace included, and some funds allocated to foreign military financing. In aggregate, stable or modest growth in our domestic market is not enough. But we must look beyond our domestic market. In particular, the broader European market. Here, we see some potential due to European defense spending as countries work to meet 2% of GDP target. We must continue to develop international cooperation programs, as no one in the industry can now rely only on domestic spending. Currently, only 4 countries have met the target, meaning there is still more to come. Now, let's talk specifically about our core business. We are not just a helicopters company with other things on the side. We have 3 core businesses, split fairly evenly between the 3. We have spoken at length about helicopters this afternoon already. I want to spend just a few minutes talking about some of the great things happening in our defense electronic security and aeronautic businesses, and why I'm confident that they will contribute strongly to our growth going forward. Defense electronic is a broad business. We are leader in some military segments: radar, avionics, electronic warfare. We are a leader in avionic radar for maritime applications, surveillance and control, with strategic positioning on key technology like EASA, electronic, optical, infrared and laser, with excellence in providing integrated solutions for high-star mission on any platform agnostic. On naval system, we are responsible for combat system, which includes sensor and system to realize the ship missions, and represent 30-35% of the total value of the naval system. On land, we have a consolidated positioning in advanced battlefield digitization system based on C4 architecture, surveillance, radar and communication systems, with excellence in land weapon system and ammunition. On security, we have capabilities in infrastructure protection and cybersecurity. In all these domains, we boast a significant international presence. We have access to the most important defense market in the US through DRS. In aircraft, we do have key program technologies and capabilities to rely on. We do participate in international cooperation programs that allow the sustainability of the business in the medium-long term, Eurofighter and F-35. We are working to strengthen our expertise in unmanned and its evolution towards the UCAV programs. We have the ability to provide integrated military training solutions and across the entire training syllabus with the M345, new generation basic trainer, characterized by a high cost-performance ratio, M346, also in light fighter version for reconnaissance missions, attack and air defense, live virtual constructive and flight schools, which is very, very important. We can provide a unique performance for tactical transport and special mission with a C-27J, also used for civil search and rescue application. We have state-of-the-art technologies and components in B787 future programs. We have also regional transport aircraft, the ATR, which holds 75% of the market share of the turboprop aircraft. We are clear on our strengths, with some great products and clear leadership in some business segment. You should be no in doubt about the enduring strengths of our helicopter business after this afternoon. We have also our leadership in trainers, radars and naval armaments, where our mastery of core technologies maintain our position. And importantly, we are widely recognized to be a trusted partner by our customers. But we are also clear on our weaknesses, and the heart of these weaknesses is the fragmentation of our business. This slide demonstrates this point. We are a medium-sized company compared to the other, with a presence that is too wide. Diversification is not negative per se, but where this issue does matter is where we are too small to be commercially effective. Specifically, in terms of high-level competition in non-domestic market, where you need size and broader shoulders to be successful, and a bigger revenue base on which to support the investment required to offer the customers the necessary technological advancement. As we become more and more focused in our investment behind our core products and capabilities, it becomes harder for these smaller businesses to compete. But I know you have seen this chart or something like it before, and not that much has changed. So what we do about it? Contrary to popular perception, it's not all about M&A. For example, one attractive option is to take our good but small businesses and create a partnership with someone larger, creating a stronger platform to assess commercial opportunities, diluting our need for investment through R&D synergies from the combination, reducing the commitment of Leonardo, management time, enabling us to focus on our core. You have seen us to do this effectively in some of our space business in the past. M&A may have a role to play, but we will tell you when it is happening, rather than speculating in advance. But I do want to update you on three situations on which there has been some discussion in the past, and I'm going to be very clear. First, DRS. We do not want to exit this business or this market. It is performing very well. Its outlook is very good, and it has a strong pipeline. So it has a lot to achieve in 2018, including the TX trainer tender, and for the time being, they are completely focused on that. Therefore, any discussion on the future of this business and the potential to crystallize its growing value at some point can wait. MBDA, let me be clear, I like MBDA. I like its cash, I like its pipeline, I like its strategic value in commercial terms. So I have no intention to sell MBDA. Finally, ATR. ATR is a good partnership delivering good products and good results. We have just seen the presentation of the year-end results. The current generation is very successful with a strong portfolio of orders. In 2017, we get 113 new orders. And we will consider future investment to extend the opportunity of this generation platform. So we have a strong market backdrop to our growth plan. Sorry, we are discussing with Airbus on this investment, just to clarify the position of our partner. And we start with a strong portfolio of products to enable us to take our share. But we need to make this an organization that is fit to win more than it has been in the past, and to deliver sustainable growth, profitability, and cash. This slide is important for our people because it affects how we work and what I'm going to be asking of them every day. It is important that you know that we are trying to do with the organization. We will continually reassess what we have, and we will open conversation with the unions about the potential for future restructuring. But the proof of this new organization will be in the results that it delivers to you rather than the ambitions. So I just want to focus on one thing before handing to Lorenzo, and that is our approach to innovation, which is critical to our long-term sustainable growth. We must make Leonardo work as one company, leveraging on cross-divisional technologies, the 5% of research and technologies, with a new innovation hub to support best-in-class, and 12% of revenues to be invested in R&D in 2018, 95% of which will be dedicated to product development to help us win more with our customers, which brings us to our new commercial strategy. So now I'm going to hand over to Lorenzo to speak about our revolutionizing our international network to deliver the sustainable growth that we are targeting over the life of our plan. Lorenzo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Alessandro, and good afternoon, everybody. Being the Chief Commercial Officer of Leonardo, I will drive through the enhanced commercial strategy of the company. That is an integral part of Leonardo Industrial Plan we are presenting today. Some background. I've been over 20 years in this company, in the group, in different positions, always very close to the business. My former role was Managing Director of Land and Naval System Division. And I am striving to bring some of this commercial experience and mindset in the center, in the headquarters. The CCO organization has been created early October 2017. The full organization is in place since November. And since then, our concentration has been on a new commercial strategy, more focused on customer proximity and marketing effectiveness. Resources that have been put in this effort are serious. In this moment, in CCO operate 500 people, out of which less than 20% based in Italy and all the rest around the world, in about 20 countries. I will touch base on 4 key messages, covering the pillars of the new strategy. First of all, improved order intake, more orders, more good orders. Enhanced focus on large campaigns, these were mentioned also by Giampiero. How to improve our presence in key export markets, and getting more orders and more revenues from customer support. Put simply, it's all about enhancing our commercial approach and the effectiveness of our sales campaigns. My presentation in a nutshell. We have a good plan, about 70 billion euro baseline, out of which approximately 60% is export. It's challenging. It's providing slightly above 6% of compound growth rate. However, this is solid and reliable. All 3 key businesses of Leonardo are contributing to this growth: helicopters, aircraft, and electronics for defense and security. And we are quite clear on how to do it. This growth is achieved through concentration on key, large size and strategic sales campaign. We will touch base on that. Strengthening our offices abroad and joint ventures and subsidiaries, and much more focus on customer support with an innovative approach. The background is always customer intimacy. All current customers and potential ones should be feeling that Leonardo is close to their needs. Point number 1, the solid order intake. The plan shows a positive trend across all 3 business sectors of Leonardo. Namely, for helicopters, they are expected to grow materially thanks to specific focus on key countries and strategic military campaigns. All of these campaigns have already been identified. They're all in progress. A good contribution is included from the Italo-French JV NHI for the helicopter NH90, as well as from Italy-UK collaboration at government level for marketing AW101 and AW159 in the export market outside UK. Aircraft are benefiting from two lines, trainers and Eurofighter campaigns, mostly in Middle East, but not only in Middle East. Recent successes have been revamping that. Those campaigns include a strong and enhanced focus on customer support, and this is a secondary benefit. Electronic defense and security continues its positive trend. This has been shown already in the last 3 to 4 years. This is driven by the tight link with platforms for IFA, helicopters, naval campaigns, recent successes in Bahrain and Qatar, and I will come back to that, and cyber. And in addition to that, solid business in the US with DRS, especially in the land domain. Across the plan, overall, more than 50% of our business is related with electronic defense and security. Back to Qatar. Italy signed a deal in 2016 with Qatar Navy. This deal became effective in 2017 for the delivery of 7 ships, very modern, high class. Leonardo is in charge of the complete combat system for that, and this accounts for more than 30% of the total contract. That includes a complex 10-year contractor logistics support. So this is a good example of good order, good revenues and good profit, good reference in the export market, and good push to customer support. Good plan based strongly on key campaigns. Since the new organization has been put in place, we have been reviewing and screening all the campaigns in which Leonardo is committed. This is about 250. Out of these, more than 70 have been considered as strategic and put under central coordination by CCO. The associated value is approximately 20 billion euro, and this excludes US, because US alone has a few big shots whose potential value is of several billion euros or US dollars. A specific focus is being devoted to a few key countries where 2, 3, in some cases 4 opportunities exceed 1 billion each. I would like to mention Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi that are on top, but then Algeria, Egypt, Poland, Pakistan, and Malaysia. A specific division of Leonardo in those cases is always accountable for the business, full responsibility, but central coordination, country management, challenge and review of actions is in the hands of CCO that is supporting mainly through the network of commercial offices and subsidiaries. Regional and country offices are key to monitor campaigns, understand customer needs, and promptly react to any evolution. Now, a very busy slide. This is intentionally busy. This is the pictorial of major campaigns. I will use that as the details of many campaigns are sensitive just to stress one point. The balance of land, naval, and air is very good. Overall, 50% of the key campaigns are related with platforms. I would not say 50-50, but very close between helicopters and aircraft, and the remaining part to electronics. So we said good plan. Campaigns need presence. Leonardo has already about 25 offices and subsidiaries abroad. This is true at the end of 2017. 10 new initiatives are being conducted now and will be concluded in 2018 and 2019. The global number of offices and subsidiaries will be more than doubled by the end of the planning period in 2022. New offices are always linked to key and strategic campaigns, and this is true for Algeria, Bahrain, Azerbaijan, Pakistan, and others. The main objective is always to increase proximity to the customer in order to monitor their satisfaction and to gain insight on the competitive environment. Now another busy slide, the structured approach to market opportunities. This is just to show how we look at the end of the plan, Leonardo markets coverage that will be really outstanding. Our presence will be shared among offices, JV, subsidiaries, and regional hubs according to the strategic approach to the specific country or region. I will pick 2 or 3 examples just to show. Kuwait. Everybody knows that we got a big contract for Eurofighter in 2016 in Kuwait, and we created a JV for the execution of that contract. We have already established a branch from Selex Electronic Systems there. Now we see in the plan big opportunities for air and naval. So we are increasing the capability of the JV and putting the JV under Leonardo International, and at the same time we will be moving with a single phase in the country. Australia. Australia has a similar history, but I would say more confused. Naval contracts taken in 2013 and creation of a branch office there for running the contract. We purchased a company there in 2016 for support of the systems in the country, and helicopters already had a service station for maintenance of helicopters. Now we see major opportunities there for helicopters, for land, and for naval systems. So we are creating a single representative office in Canberra, in the capital, representing Leonardo one phase, and we are incorporating all the JVs and subsidiaries under the name of Leonardo International. Similar approach we are following in other countries, such as Brazil. So now, we started with a good plan. We moved to campaigns that are the basis of the plan. Campaigns claim for an enhanced presence abroad, and when we are abroad, we try to be close to the customer, then enhanced customer support. Here, the CAGR is much higher than other business segments. Our CEO already said from 20 to 25% of total. Remember that gaining that 5% only represent 2 billion of additional orders in 2022. Aircraft and helicopters are ahead in this process, but helicopters is following very closely. And some actions have already been put in place in the last period in order to be compliant with the Leonardo transformation plan. First, we are establishing regional hubs for better customer satisfaction, improving systems availability. Second, each division will have a specific line of business dedicated to customer support. These lines of business will share best practices, but will keep the peculiarities of each business. We will respect the peculiarities and the fact that aircraft is much different from electronics. Internally, manufacturing and procurement processes will be tailored to support customer support that is often very different from normal manufacturing. We have lower quantities, shorter times, minimum lead time. So this is part of the strong transformation we are applying internal to our company. Fourth, last but not least, product portfolio is being enlarged to 3 areas: midlife upgrade for land, naval, and air systems, service by the hour, and enhanced training. In one sentence, we are moving from product excellence to service and capability excellence. And let me spend a few words more on that. Midlife upgrade, an example. Bahrain. We won an important naval contract in 2014 for replacing the entire combat system on Lursen ships where we had literally little or no product originally. We performed that, we delivered the first ship a few weeks ago, and now we are moving on with the contract, and we are offering the same kind of life extension, 15 years, to all the countries that run the same kind of platform. So this is true for Kuwait, this is true for Egypt. Another even more important example, the advanced training through the International Training School. In Italy, we are joining forces with our Italian Air Force to establish an international training school using what they already have, and we already have together in Lecce, southern Italy. It's not just about planes, but a complex training systems made of plane, mission planning systems, simulators, and software. Several countries are already sending their pilots there, and we think there are at least 10 more countries interested to do that, because it's much more effective and less expensive. We are increasing by 50% to 12,000 the training hours already in this year, and we will obtain a good stream of revenues, more customer proximity, more sales opportunities for 345 and 346 in the plan, and also reduce costs to our Italian Air Force. A similar approach is applied already to helicopters, with the Rotary Wing Training Center, and I think this will be available for visit in Sesto Calenda tomorrow. So to wrap up, we have a plan, a challenging plan, credible and realistic, and all the actions to make this real have been put already in place, and we will succeed. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very pleased to be here today to present to you the financial side of our plan, the reasons and the drivers that validate it, and where it takes us in financial terms. Put very simply, this is a plan that gets us back to growth. A lot has been achieved over the last few years. We exited non-core businesses and became focused on aerospace and defense. We worked hard to restructure, becoming stronger, more efficient, and more profitable. And we changed our governance and culture to become Leonardo One Company. We had to reset last year in challenging conditions, but we're now entering a new phase, and we have made a plan to build steady, sustainable, long-term growth. And it's a sensible, well-grounded plan with clear focus. Why that is the case? Because it's about focused efforts and energy to address the commercial opportunities and increase market penetration, focus on export markets to increase order intake, as you have heard from Alessandro and from Lorenzo. It's about achieving steady revenue growth supported by our strong backlog and new orders. It's about steady improvement in profitability from recovery in helicopters, as you have heard from Giampiero, and solid contributions from the other divisions. From operating leverage and tight cost control, investing for growth and investing well. It's also about increasing cash generation, and all in the framework of a strong capital structure. In the short term, 2018 is a year when we are planting the seeds for growth. So 2017 was a year of rebasing. We had to reset in challenging markets. We suffered a setback in profitability, and we have had to reposition our helicopter business. We had to revise partially our full-year guidance in November. We confirm we will achieve this revised guidance. We will be at the lower end of the guidance range for revenues, EBITDA, and free operating cash flow. As we said in November, there was a timing risk on a C-27J export contract, which did indeed occur, meaning 2017 order intake could be between 11.3 and 11.7 billion. With respect to free operating cash flow, we did very well to secure a high level of cash-ins from IFA Kuwait contract. But all that said, we have continued confidence in the core strength of our group and in the medium-term opportunities. If you step back, you can see in helicopters, we have a business that's best in class, still leading margins, strong base across civil and military, and critically a superb family of products, well-positioned in the right market segments, as Giampiero mentioned earlier. In defense electronics, we have a solid business built around major long-term contracts with exposure to key export markets, with a healthy backlog, and with a cutting-edge product portfolio in sensors and systems, radars, airborne, naval and land, EW solutions, C4I, systems and products where we are investing to make them even stronger. And aircraft is a major player in leading international programs such as IFA and JSF. It has an all-time high backlog anchored on the significant Kuwait Eurofighter contract, and it has an attractive product portfolio with proprietary platforms such as trainer and transport aircraft. So this all underpins our confidence in our industrial plan. The first foundation for sustainable growth is solid order intake. Our start point in 2017 is 11.3 to 11.7 billion. And we start with a backlog of approximately 34 billion euros. We're projecting a higher than 6% CAGR on order intake over the next 5 years throughout 2022. In total, that means around 70 billion of new orders over the plan horizon. It also means keeping a book-to-bill at or above 1 times. This order plan is founded on the principle that Lorenzo articulated earlier. First, we're deploying our efforts in the right place, into the export market where we need to be and where we have an edge. We're intercepting customer demand at the earliest possible stage. It's the whole point of the CCO structure, and we didn't have it before. Second, we take comfort in a good pipeline of opportunities. In terms of short-term outlook, we're guiding towards a 2018 order intake level of 12.5 to 13 billion, driven by recovery in helicopters, in aircraft, large IFA export contracts, major campaigns chased by consortium partners, C-27J export campaigns in the pipeline, M346 trainer on the back of an established franchise developed in this business. And in defense electronics, 60% related to airborne systems, which include the contribution of Eurofighter, and DRS. Now let's look at revenues over the planned years. We're targeting stable and sustainable revenue growth with a 5-year CAGR of 5 to 6%. This is based on delivering our backlog, which is at a whole-time high, 3 years equivalent revenues, which is a real asset for you, as you can appreciate. Getting the solid order intake I've just mentioned, and a start point of 2017 revenues at the lower end of the guidance. So we do feel comfortable in this projected trend of revenues going forward. First, I emphasize the strength of our backlog. Aircraft and defense electronics have particularly strong backlog, for example, from the IFA Kuwait and naval defense electronics. And then helicopters recovery, supported by strong product portfolio in the right market segments. And we expect a ramp-up in production in other areas like DRS. In terms of short-term outlook, we're guiding towards a 2018 revenue level of 11.5 to 12 billion. All our divisions will grow, with helicopters growing above group average. Moving now to profitability. Our plan is to grow return on sales steadily year over year to double-digit profitability by 2020. And that means solid growth in EBITDA. And it means solid EBITDA, which grows faster than revenues at a CAGR between 8 and 10% over the next 5 years. We think we can do that because of a number of factors. Number one, recovery in helicopters that you have heard from Giampiero. Number two, continuing solid results contributed from electronics and aircraft. Number three, operating leverage from higher volumes across our SG&A base. Number four, relentless cost control. We'll achieve efficiencies and savings, even if the majority of those savings will be reinvested to increase competitiveness. I want to touch on costs and cost control. we have to always keep an eye on cost. You have heard earlier from our CEO about strict cost control delivering throughout clear actions. With around 200 million euros identified and built into the plan, with the one company model, we're much better placed to do this. And as I said earlier, it feels like we are in a different phase. For 2018 short-term guidance, we're looking at EBITA of 1,075 to 1,125 million euros, driven by helicopters starting on its recovery path, aircraft growing, leveraging higher volumes, defense electronics confirming their positive trends. All this offsetting ATR expected lower contribution and investments in the commercial network and one company capabilities and backbone. Now, keeping tight cost control is a given. But if we really want to grow, we also need to invest, and to invest well in a disciplined manner. This means we need not just a growth strategy, but an investment strategy as well. So our plan here is built around investing in key areas in terms of products and technologies to drive sustainable growth. But I want to be very clear here. We will remain disciplined in our investment strategy and focus in the areas where we are ahead of the curve and can address market needs. Helicopters, our trainer family, and advanced sensors and systems in defense electronics. So our projected net investment spend is estimated to be at an average of 600 to 700 million euros over the next 5 years. And this is a higher level than in 2015-16 by some 150 to 200 million, because we are investing for sustainable growth. This will impact our short-term cash flow. So it is all the more important we control our working capital while supporting growth. It is a feature of our industry that we have contracts with advance payments and then build-up of working capital with the customer advances winding down. In our case, we have a very significant contract, the IFA Kuwait, that has had a big impact on our cash flow as we secured significant cash payments in 2016 and 17. Now, as production ramps up, there will be a lot of working capital absorption. We're also experiencing a similar trend in other programs, in particular in helicopters and aerostructures. And our plan assumes a material winding down of customer advances over the plan horizon. Also consider that we will grow, and growth is typically associated with increase in working capital. Despite all this, we're looking to keep the ratio of operating working capital net of customer advances to sales at a stable level, or even achieve a slight reduction. That's due to efforts at improving industrial processes through effective integrated planning, setting specific targets and actions on key working capital components, defining clear accountability, and set the appropriate incentive scheme. So let's now turn to free operating cash flow. This is a priority for the group and absolutely remains so. I want to talk now about how our cash flow is facing pressure in the short term and how we're planning to significantly step up cash generation in the second half of the plan on the back of higher orders and strengthened profitability. As you can see from the earlier slide, there are going to be some short-term pressure on free operating cash flows over the next 2 years, 18 to 19. And this is for 4 main reasons. First, IFA Kuwait cash profile. As you well know, in 16-17 we had significant cash inflows from the contract, and now we need to build up our inventories to support program deliveries, therefore absorbing cash. Second, customer advances winding down, particularly in helicopters. Third, higher investments for sustainable growth, building our future leadership positions in key product areas with levels that are 150 to 200 million higher than in 15 to 16. Fourth, underperformance in aerostructures. But I also want to highlight that in order to understand cash flow generation, it is helpful not to look at one single year, but rather as an average. Alessandro anticipated this principle before. You know the industry well, and I'm sure you will appreciate this principle. If you look at the average of our free operating cash flow over 2015 throughout 2018, in order to normalize figures for Kuwait, our annual free operating cash flow is 400 million euros. I also like to look at cash flow conversion, normalized for capital structure, in order to make Leonardo comparable to its peers, which means that we look at free operating cash flow over EBITDA, net of financial expenses and taxes paid. On this basis, we have a 50% cash conversion over 15 to 18, which is not far from our peers. But the thing I want to highlight is that after the short-term pressure on cash flow over the next 2 years, we expect a significant step up in cash generation, driven by material contribution from IFA Kuwait, full recovery in helicopters, growing orders across the group, and higher profitability. At the same time, we have already been successfully executing on our financial strategy. In simple terms, it's based around 2 areas: reducing gross debt and reducing cost of funding. Let me explain in more detail. First, our aim of reducing gross debt. We have actually already achieved a lot in 2017. We had a target of cutting gross debt by 20% by 2020, from 4.6 to 3.8, and we have achieved it early. We did it through refinancing only a portion of expiring debt. I'm pleased we have delivered more than promised in 2017. In the period 17 through 19, we have 2.3 billion euros of expiring debt, including the 2039 40 US bonds tendered by our US company last December through a transaction with a 200 million MPV positive result. The target was to refinance 2/3 of this amount and to extinguish the rest. We managed to do more. In 2017, we refinanced only half of that expiring debt, issuing a 600 million 7-year bond last June out of 1.2 billion euros of debt to be retired. And we plan to achieve more over the next few years. So over to 18 to 20, we intend to refinance remaining short-term maturities through new bond issuance at times when the market will offer us good opportunities. We also targeted to reduce our cost of funding. Our target was to reduce it by 25% by 2020. We have already lowered this cost from 5.4 in 16 to 4.7 in 17, and we plan to get to a 4% level by 2020. We're also going to reduce our cost of funding associated with our revolving credit facility, which we intend to sign next month, extending the life of the facility throughout 2023, reducing the size from the current 2 billion to 1.8 to better fit our business needs, and significantly reducing our cost of funding from 100 to 75 basis points, so 25% reduction. We're very pleased that the new RCF was well received by the loan market as we got bank commitments which were twice the size of the facility. Now I want to turn to 2018 guidance. As I said at the start of my presentation, we're entering a new phase. This is a year when we are planting the seeds for growth. So the key elements of our short-term guidance for 2018 are the following. New order intake in the range of 12.5 to 13 billion euros. Revenues in the range of 11.5 to 12 billion. EBITA in the range of 1,075 to 1,125 million euros. Free operating cash flow of circa 100 million euros. And finally, group net debt of 2.6 billion. So in summary, and to highlight again the key points, we're entering a new phase back to growth. We have presented to you our plan for 2018-22, and you can see that this plan is driven by addressing the commercial opportunities to win business and grow solidly order intake, amounting in aggregate to 70 billion euros. Keeping our book-to-bill equal or above 1 times, growing revenues at a CAGR of 5 to 6%, underpinned by our strong backlog and new orders, steadily building our profitability to double-digit in 2020, based on helicopters recovering, steady contribution from aircraft and defense electronics, and strict cost control. Then investing for sustainable growth in key products, and stepping up cash flow generation in the second half of the plan. All in the framework of a disciplined financial strategy based on lowering debt and lowering our cost of funding. Thank you, and I will now hand it back to Alessandro for some brief concluding remarks.
Many thanks, Alessandra. So I hope that after all this presentation, but clearly now we have room by 1 hour and a half for question and answer, you are confident in the opportunity for Leonardo. We are entering a new phase where our reference markets are going to grow by around 6%, and we have the quality products highly valued by our customers and well-positioned for key trends. So we are going to set this business up to win. Leonardo 2.0, with the full deployment of the one company model that will continue to be essential as redevelopment of the organization to leverage on our key competencies. A new commercial strategy that will transform our opportunities in international market and services in reality, whilst renewed investment in key areas will maintain product leadership and win with our customer. This will be coupled with clear cost control to establish sustainable, profitable growth. As Alessandra said, we will reinvest a huge portion of our cost savings in competitiveness. All of this combined is with a sustainable financial strategy for Leonardo. I think it's very important to be focused on the average cash flow generation and the average cash conversion, which is quite substantial, where strict cost control will be largely targeted towards maintaining competitiveness and reinvesting to win. The combination of strong execution on increasing volumes together with a clear financial strategy will deliver profitable growth and return to our shareholders. As we said, 2017 is a bottom year, and 2018 we will restart the recovery in order, revenues, and EBITDA. So we are back to growth, and it is and will be an accelerating process. So I think that we have shown a steady, solid, reliable, sustainable growth, and I stress that we will deliver on that. Now with our colleagues, and we have here as well our divisional managers, we are ready to answer to all your questions. Many thanks.